Yes, already.
Yes.
Okay, well, good morning to everybody who's joining us. We are at the end of chapter 12 now, and we're going to start chapter 13. So before we check our homework, I want to do this warm up. So I asked you to write a sentence with whose as an SRP or as an ORP. So number one, who did number one?
I did.
Senor Jimenez, that's yours?
The man whose I met is my sentence.
Okay. Good. So if we have whose, it means that we are replacing a possessive word. Okay. So what you're saying here, let me get this. If we take your adjective clause, okay, what you're doing is you've got as the subject and met as the verb, okay? And when we have a possessive, you cannot use a possessive, like I can't say my eye or her eye or something like that. So know that the word whose here is going to be an object relative pronoun. So what that means is what you're saying is I met his, because remember we're replacing an object, right?
Yes.
And whenever we have who, we have to have a noun after it. So my question is, I'm still left with some questions here. What did you meet? You met his dog? You met his friend? You met his neighbor?
No, I met with him.
Okay, so now you want to use him. Him is going to be
All right.
an object, not a possessive. So in other words, we don't need to use the possessive his, whose. Okay?
Okay.
So how do we replace it? What do we replace him with, right? What is going to be the object relative pronoun that we put to the front?
Who or that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to say who I met. Okay? So I wanted to take you to the destination in the long way because I wanted you to see why your word was wrong. It's important to know why. And so I wanted to show you that. The reason is because if we put whose there, first of all, we always need a noun after whose. And we cannot use a subject pronoun after whose. So, and the second thing is when we use whose, it's always replacing a possessive word like his or my. So that's why we need to have a noun after it, like his dog, his friend. So is it possible, Walter, is it possible the man whose neighbor I met a few days ago passed away yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. That is basically that means I met the man's,
His neighbor.
I met his neighbor. So your number one, we made it correct in two different ways. We could use who, but then we don't have a possessive. Or we could use who, but now. Okay, good. Number two, is this yours, Amani?
Yes.
So my friend whose wife, now notice right away you've got whose plus a noun and then not a subject pronoun. That's good.
Oh, that's
Yeah, this is
Oh,
looking
yeah.
good so far. My friend whose wife in Africa wants to move to another state. Okay, Walter, can you check this for me? Do you think this is correct?
Friend, wife, yes, I think it is correct.
Can we replace whose with a possessive word like his wife
His
or
wife.
yeah. Yes, we can. So that makes it correct. My friend's wife is in Africa. That's really what it comes from. So, Amani, this is perfect. You've actually got this correct too. It's a subject relative pronoun. Why? Because the friend's wife, subject, friend is the one we're describing. So whatever's here, friend's wife, if that's a subject, then whose is going to be a SRP, a subject relative pronoun. The one at the top that Walter and I did, the man whose neighbor I met, okay, whose neighbor, whose is an ORP. Why? Because neighbor is not the subject. I is a subject. That's why whose is going to be an ORP. Number two, whose is going to be the subject, the SRP.
Right.
Okay. Any questions there?
No.
No question.
And the second one is also correct. The woman whose husband is celebrating his birthday tonight. So the woman is celebrating his birthday. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, and let's go down to the bottom. Everyone who came to the party got a gift card. That is correct. We cannot use whose. We never can have that. We're going to put the possessive whose plus the verb. So this one is correct. We just use the regular who as an SRP. Number two, Mrs. Ouattara is the teacher whose class I enjoy the most. What do you guys think? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that one is correct as well. How do you correct? We've got whose plus a noun. We always need whose. Okay, we got that. And we can replace whose with a possessive word like her. I enjoy her class the most. So we've got an ORP right here, and that one is correct. One thing I noticed last week when we were doing the sentences together, you guys remember you worked in groups and you guys were making sentences with who? You guys remember that?
Can you repeat, Hannah? I didn't hear.
Do you remember last week we were working in or with a partner
Yes.
and sentences with who?
Right.
Yes. Right.
Okay, one of the problems is one student was using whatever word was here, teacher, they were also putting the word in the adjective clause. And we cannot say Mrs. Ouattara is the teacher whose teacher I enjoy. We cannot have the same word that we're describing outside the clause be the same word that's listed or written in the clause. So remember, we are replacing. So teacher is the word replacing adjective clause. So this means the teacher's class. Okay, so we cannot put whose teacher. Make that clear to everybody. So that is the warm-up. Let's go straight to our homework on page 336. Page 336. Exercise 31. You guys can help me with this. Amani, answers
Yes. 36, right?
Yes. It says underline the pair of sentences and follow the steps. So basically, they want you to write with whose.
Okay.
Yes.
I on number B, I underlined his, and the sentence was the CEO whose company lost money is resigning. Resigning or resigning?
Yeah, like a Z.
Resign.
That
Yeah.
is correct.
That's in ORP, and I drawn the arrow his to CEO.
Okay, that's correct. Good. Okay, Walter, do you want to do the next one?
Yes. Okay, the next one is I underlined possessive in sentence her. I drew an arrow from her to woman. So the sentence is, let me introduce to the woman whose company is hiring right now.
Yes, good. And you said, let me introduce you to the woman, right?
Yes, right.
Okay,
I
good, guys.
forgot you.
Okay, so on your screen here, the bottom right side of the screen, I'm putting the answers so you can read it clearly.
Okay.
Zoom in and look at that. You guys got the first two correct, so good job. And so I'll do number 3. It says, I talked to the couple whose house was burglarized.
Burglar.
Burglarized.
Burglar. Say it again.
Not burger like a hamburger.
Burglarize.
Burglarized.
So
Burglarize.
it's in the L.
Burglarized. Yeah, we do say the L. Burglarized.
Burglarize.
Okay, that's the word of the day for Walter. You gotta say that 10 times today.
Maybe more. Burglarized.
So what does burglarized mean? Does anybody know?
Yes, is enter maybe a building illegally to especially to theft.
To steal something?
Yes. Crime.
That's correct. So it means to steal. We say to commit theft, steal. It's robbery, basically. That's burglarized. But you can only
Burglarize.
burglarize a location, a place. Burglarize the store. And you rob
Okay.
a person. You can also rob a person. Rob a person, burglarize. Okay, good. Number
Burglarized.
4, the child who's on is fine. And number 5, someone whose cell phone you found is on the floor. Now let me ask you a question. Is the man on the floor or is the cell phone on the floor? Can you guys hear me?
A little bit.
A little bit of noise on Amani's
Yes.
end. Okay. My question is is it the cell phone on the floor or the man on the floor? I mean on the phone. Oh my gosh, I said the floor.
The man is
the man on the phone.
I thought I said floor. I was like, well, oh. The man is on the phone. He's probably on the floor too, but he's on the phone. Good. All right, we're going to the next one. Exercise 32. Okay, let's see. Amani, can you do number 1? What did you put?
Yeah, 32, right?
Yes.
Number 1, I put that is the woman whose husband writes movie scripts.
Yes, there is the woman whose husband writes movie scripts. Yes. Okay, and Walter, what did you put for number 3?
Over there, whose daughter is in my English class.
Yes, good. Okay, and number 4 over there is the woman whose sister you met yesterday. Number 5, there is the professor whose course I'm taking. Number 6, that is the daughter is a newscaster. You guys know what a newscaster is?
Newcaster?
Caster.
Newcaster. Say in Spanish. I don't know how to explain in English. Person who works in paper? Or... No, it's not a paper.
Well, I'll have to trust that.
It's someone who is talking, making a presentation. Newscaster.
Making a presentation?
I think so. Newscaster.
A reporter, like a reporter of the news, yeah? Or
Yeah, news reporter. Also
Mm.
called an anchor. Well, okay, the
Anchor.
news anchor is the person who sits behind the desk and talks, like when you turn on the news. They sit behind the desk, they have all the paper and they're talking, and then they say, okay, let's go to Dallas to see what's happening over there. And then you see the news reporter who say, I'm standing in front of the blah, 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 and this is what's happening. That's a newscaster or news reporter. So they are all reporting the news. Sometimes we give them different names. Like the anchor is the person in the studio. Okay, so yeah, you guys got it right. It's basically the people who report the news on TV.
newscaster.
Yeah, newscaster. Number 7, that is the girl whose brother I taught. And number 8, there is the boy whose mother is a famous musician. Okay, any questions?
No.
So all of these are using whose ORP. That's the ORP. Okay, let's go to exercise 33, the listening practice. Oh, I like this one. I like to see if you can tell the difference between whose and who. So, Amani, what did you put for number 1?
Number 1, I put whose.
with apostrophe S or with the SE?
SE.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, Walter, what about you, number 2?
Whose? E.
Yeah, that's good. So far, so good. Then we have number 3 is whose with apostrophe S.
Yes.
And number 4, whose with the SE. Number 5, whose with apostrophe S. And number 6, whose with the S. Okay, guys? So if you got those right, then you're doing really good with your listening to the structure, basically. You're able to notice structure in the sentence because the sound of it is the same, but you have to know what comes after that word whose, right? So
Yes.
whose with apostrophe S is always going to mean who is or who has. I think I put this in your lesson folder.
Yes.
Hey, I was trying to go back a little bit.
Go ahead, go ahead.
But burglarize, for example, robber, like robbing somebody. The
Yes.
person who's robbing, we can call him a robber, right?
Yes.
The person who's burglarize is a burglarizer.
No, we call them a burglar.
Burglar.
Burglarized. Burglarized. Burglarized.
Burglarized.
It's complicated. Burglarized.
Okay, so yeah, burglarize. Burglar, Amani, is the thief. Burglar is the robber, the person who commits the crime.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Let's do one little quick thing. I know I'm kind of squeezing in some words here on this page, but I just said we use whose, like apostrophe S means who is or who has, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm putting this little sentence up here, exercise 33. The woman whose a black car is here now. Is that okay to do that?
No, it's not correct.
But why? Because I'm trying to use who has, right?
The woman. Yes.
And she has a black car. So what's the problem?
Hana is correct.
Oh, the teacher's confusing us now.
The woman whose black car
But
is here.
something inside of you says this is wrong, right?
The woman who...
Hey, I used to zoom it before, but it cannot let me do it again. I don't know why.
Oh no, you can't zoom in.
No, I used to, but
You used to be able to. Okay, so I'll
yeah.
put it over here. Okay, I was asking about this sentence. The woman who's...
Okay.
Oh no, that's not what I said. Look at me. Where's my brain today? Let me get rid of this. That is not the sentence that I just had. And that wasn't even a correct sentence. Okay. Okay. A black car is here now. Remember I said whose with the apostrophe S. I mean who is here. who has. So is this correct? Walter says yes and also no, so he's not really reliable right now. Lon, what do you think? Is this correct?
Uh, if we put who with the has, that's correct one. But if we put who with is, that's not correct. And not really. Who has? Why can't you? Why can't you remove the what's this? How they call it?
I think it's correct.
Why
Who
can't you remove the apostrophe s and put has?
Okay. You're right, Amani. This is a wrong sentence because whose apostrophe s can mean who has, correct? But if it means who has, you have to have a past participle. You have to have a past participle after the has. Why? Because we need to make, this is going to be present perfect, like has been, has gone, has had. Okay. Now, look at my second sentence. The woman who's had a flu shot is here now. He has had. So in this case, yeah, this is has, and I have a past participle. Now I can use it like that to mean has. Okay. But we cannot use it when there's no past participle. If, and I say if the has, okay?
in the first sentence, if I wanna make it correct, who has a black car is here now?
Yeah, you'd have to do what I did, and we have to take off the apostrophe s and write the word has. Another way to say it is you can use whose apostrophe s to mean has, would have to be an auxiliary verb. In sentence number 1, has is not an auxiliary verb. It is the main verb. So I cannot create the contraction. Okay, is everybody with me? Oh,
Yes.
let me get rid of that. Okay, now I say that, but I want to make sure you know that I was to the has. So let me draw this line, okay? And down here at the bottom, we have the woman who's in my class is here now. Who's in my class? Who's who has? In this case, we're using the be verb is. The woman who is in my class is here now. And this one is good. This is a correct way to also use whose. Okay, we can use is as the only verb. We don't have to use it with participle or something else, another verb after it. Okay, so a good check mark as well. Hey guys, any questions? Are you guys writing this down or are you ready?
We're ready.
Uh,
Yes.
You're writing it?
No.
no.
Oh, you're ready to go. Okay. So, um, we are ready to start chapter 13.
Wow.
believe it or not, we only have chapter 14 left, and then we're done with level 2. So we'll close really soon here. So I want to show my screen, and we're going to go to my little PowerPoint again. So I want to start with kind of introducing this chapter to you. We're looking at chapter 13, gerunds and infinitives. So the very first thing I want to do, you know about gerunds, okay? They're usually more challenging than infinitives. So we're starting with these guys. And I gave you an example sentence up here, sentence. But I want you to tell me, you guys can both share, what are the gerunds? Okay, I'll give you a minute to read it, and I want you to tell me, where are the gerunds?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Amani, you wanna start? Tell me what you think.
Oh yeah. You want me to give you the definition or show you where are the gerund in this sentence?
Do both.
Of
Yeah, tell me the definition first, where the gerunds are.
I think gerund is a conjugated verb ends with ing.
Okay, it's a conjugated verb that has ing.
Yeah.
Okay, and where do you think the gerunds are?
Oh yeah. The first gerund is flying.
Okay,
Second is walking, and the third is living. Living.
leaving.
Yes.
So flying, working, and leaving, but not interesting.
No.
Okay. Well, that's very. Um, let's see what Walter thinks. Walter, what do you think?
I think yes. I don't know why interesting is not a gerund.
Well, I'm just asking. I haven't given any answers yet. You're wondering why Amani said that, huh?
Yes. I I agree that gerunds are words with ing
Okay.
possible, but I don't know. I'm working in New York.
So, like, interesting. So that's a present participle, but it's also, is that what you're saying, Walter?
Interesting. Oh, I don't know.
Well, I just love all this confusion because that
Because it's
creates a
a
good, yeah, it creates a good time and a place for us to learn. Okay. I'm activating your knowledge. I'm getting you to tune into what you know and what you need to know. So both of you are not fully correct about your answers, okay? Which is good because that means you're in the right level, studying the right chapter. So the only gerunds that we have are flying and leaving. Those are the only gerunds in this, okay? Interesting is, like you said, Walter, a present participle. Present participles are not the same as gerunds, even though they are both verb with ing. They don't have the same function, or they don't have the same purpose in a sentence, okay? So a present participle like interesting, that is used as an adjective, okay? Working is not a gerund either because it is part of a conjugated verb. Am working. So gerunds cannot be adjectives, not be part of the conjugated verb. Okay? So working is a present participle, just like interesting. Right? But working is part of the progressive verb. Interesting is an adjective. So that leaves us with two gerunds, flying and leaving. But why is gerunds? Why are they not present participles? Let's take a look at how they're used in the sentence. It says, we discussed flying. Can I also say, if I were to change a few things, can I say, we discussed it? Is that possible? We discussed it. And it sounds interesting. What do you guys think?
We discussed it.
Yeah, have you ever heard, hey, we discussed it, or we need to discuss it? Have you heard that
Oh yeah,
before?
yeah, I heard that before.
But
Yeah,
but
definitely. So it is a pronoun. It's a noun. It's a thing, right? Are also things. So gerunds are the activities. Okay. And look at gerunds. How do we know that they're gerunds? They look like progressive verbs or adjectives, but not every ing word is acting as a verb in a sentence. We discussed flying. Discussed is the verb. Flying is an activity, it's a thing. Okay, it's not acting as a verb in the sentence. Gerunds are acting as nouns. They're like of a noun. So I want you to think of actors on. You guys ever watch movies or you go to the theater? Think of a famous actor like Brad Pitt, Jennifer Lopez. Think of these actors and actresses, different parts depending on which movie they're in, right? Like sometimes the actor will be a good character, a character that we all love. In another movie, that actor might play in a different part, bad character, right?
right.
Okay. So think of gerunds, think of these verbs as act. They appear in sentences, but they play different. They can play a different part. So in this sentence, flying is playing the part of a noun. It's a thing. Okay. And in this sentence, working is playing the part of a verb. It's an action because it goes with the subject. I am working. That's something that I'm doing. So it's playing the part as a verb. So flying is a gerund, leaving is a gerund. Why is it a gerund? Let's look at that. It says work and leaving my job is not an option. So I want to ask a question. What is not an option? What is not an option? What's the answer to that question? According to the sentence,
Living.
Living?
leaving this job is not an option. So leaving is actually a subject. because leaving is connected to the verb is. Leaving is not an option. So again, we have leaving. It looks like a verb, looks like a progressive verb, but it's acting as a subject in this sentence. Subjects are always nouns. So therefore, leaving is a gerund, okay? Because gerunds are nouns. They are things. They're activities. So let me show you a couple more examples. Swimming is good exercise. Okay, what is the subject?
Swimming. It's a
Swimming.
subject.
It's the subject, yeah.
Swimming.
It's the subject because we're talking about the activity. We're not talking about a person right now, action. We are talking about the activity. Just like I can say, um,
Running is a good sport.
running is good exercise. Lifting weights is good exercise. It is good exercise, right? I can also use that it. So it is a thing. That means swimming is a thing. It's a gerund. I enjoy running. Running is a gerund because it's in the noun position. I could say I enjoy driving. I enjoy people. I enjoy my kids. So these are all things or people. These are all nouns. Kids, that's nouns. So can you guys see now that we've got, it looks like verbs, but they're acting as nouns. Okay, is everybody with me?
Yes.
Yeah, we are with you.
Oh, the hard part comes when you're trying to decide how to parent correctly, right? Because we can't just throw them in anywhere in a sentence. We've got to look for the place and the position in order to put them in the right place. So notice in swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a subject. You can put gerunds in the subject. I enjoy running. What is the position of that gerund? It's not the
Uh,
subject,
it
No, it's the object.
it's the object. Remember, we said objects mean what? We talked about these with adjective clauses. We remember an object. An object is what?
is a noun or a thing that comes after the preposition.
Good. A noun that comes after something, after a preposition or after a verb. That's going to be what we call an object. So an object of the verb. I enjoy, so we've got enjoy is the verb, and then we have an object, running. So again, a gerund can be in the object position, subject position, or object position. Okay? Any questions about that?
Yes, a lot. No.
Okay, maybe start with one question. What's your first question?
Good to know. No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. Well, I still have a lot more to explain in more. Maybe this will help. Okay, so let's talk about gerunds some more. First of all, I need you to remember a couple of things. Any verb can be transformed into a gerund. Any verb. So when you think of the be verb or go, get, take, any verb that you can think of has a potential and a possibility to become a gerund. Okay, so let me give you a couple of examples. Being an international student has been interesting. Being is the gerund. Now, that's the be verb. that we created this gerund with. The be verb is a non-action verb, right? And you probably heard teachers saying, well, don't use non-action verbs with ing. Has anybody ever heard that before?
Yeah.
I know you have, because I've taught you that. All the grammar
Yeah.
classes you've taken, right? Non-action, no ing is what I say. But with gerunds, remember they're not progressive verbs. So we don't have to follow that rule about the non-action, okay? We can use gerunds with any kind of verb. So we've got the being, and the second one, I enjoy having coffee with a muffin in the morning. Having is a gerund, and it is a non-action verb, but this is not a verb in my sentence. It's a noun. It's a thing. So I don't have to follow that rule about the non-action verbs. So I want to tell you this, though. Don't use non-action meaning in progressive verb tenses. This is the normal rule. Like, I'm having a new car. That would be wrong. But remember we said I'm having, that's supposed to be a progressive, present progressive. That's a verb. I cannot use having like that. But if I'm using having as a gerund, I enjoy having coffee, that is okay, because a gerund is not a progressive verb. Okay, is everybody thumbs up with that?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Okay, so something to keep in mind. Once again, we have, this is a difference between those present participles in verb tenses, like I'm having, I'm going, she's taking. That's different from a gerund. Okay, they fall into different categories. So they look exactly the same, but they don't have the same purpose in the sentence. Okay, so that they're different types of words. So that's my first point. My second point is that gerunds are recognized by their place and purpose. I want you guys to say place and purpose.
And purpose.
Place and purpose.
Okay. You remember that with gerunds. If something is a gerund, look at the place and look at the
And
purpose.
purpose.
Okay?
Okay.
So for place, we're talking subject and object position in a sentence. That's the place that it goes. Okay? And the purpose is to be an activity, is to be a thing. It is not to tell what the subject is doing. So the purpose of a gerund is to be an activity or a thing that you're talking about. So here's examples of the subject position. Working from 9 to 5 has been good since my kids get home at 5:15. So working is in a subject position. Working is in a subject position. Okay, here's one in an object position. I quit working the night shift. Working is a gerund because it's in the object place. I is a subject, quit is a verb, and then I ask what did I quit? I quit working. It. Just like you can say, I quit smoking, right? Quit means to stop doing something. So we're going to use the gerund form to show what we quit. I quit working, I quit exercising, I quit watching TV. You're almost always going to see that ing after quit. That's why we do not say to smoke or quit smoke. We don't say that, right? we've got to use the gerund, the object position here. And we also have another example of the object position. The neighbors aren't soliciting in my neighborhood. Soliciting means going to door and asking for something, like, do you want to buy this? Will you vote for this person? All of that is soliciting. Okay, so this says object position. So it's the object. What does it come after?
The second,
Third one. The neighbors
the
aren't
third,
complaining.
that comes is in preposition of object. I don't know.
The
Let me just
object
say
position.
it's neighborhood.
Yeah, that's correct, Imani. Very good. So with position and soliciting is the object preposition. Okay, so there's two kinds of objects. One object comes after a verb, and one object comes after a preposition. So the preposition one, we're actually going to study that one later this week, next week. We're focusing on subject and the object of the verb. Okay, so point, gerunds are not connected to time. So the ing on a gerund does mean it's now. It does not mean it's in progress. Okay? It is not functioning as a verb. So gerunds are not connected to time. That means I can use a gerund in a sentence about the past, about the future, about the present. I can use a gerund no matter what tense my verb is. Okay? Gerunds are not connected to time. Okay, any questions on the slide before we do practice?
No.
Okay, let's go to 42, and let's do a couple of these together. Page 342, and just look in the green box. So do you see where it says green box, verb plus gerund? Everybody see that? Page 342.
342. Wait.
Okay.
42.
You see the green box 13-1. It says verb plus gerund.
Yes.
Okay, when it says gerund there, you can put the word object. This is object of the. So I already gave you some examples of the subject, gerund as a subject. Your book does not give you a chart for that, okay? But just know that you can use them as subjects. The book starts with the object of a verb. So my sentence on the screen says, I quit working. Quit is a verb, plus I have a gerund after that. That's called the object of the verb. So here are some more examples of verbs that go with gerunds. Now, do you see the word quit in the box?
Yes.
Right? It says David quit smoking, right?
Yes.
Okay. The important thing, I want you to circle all of these verbs. Enjoy, finish, quit, mind, postpone, all of these. These are the keys. If you have one of these verbs in any tense, it can be past, present, future, or whatever, that is going to give you permission to use a gerund after these. Okay, so for example, with enjoy, I cannot say I enjoy to work. I cannot say I enjoy work in my garden. I cannot say that. I need to use after these verbs. Okay, so it's just a list of verbs you have to memorize. And I don't think they have a longer list in your book. I looked for those earlier in like a long list, but because there's a lot more verbs than just these.
Considering.
But the good news is you can do a search in Google and say, okay, what are a list of the verbs that go with gerunds? And then you'll see a longer list. Okay. Any questions? And what to do with them?
I remember one, but he didn't put it.
Okay, what is it?
So I mean, start. I cannot say it.
Start is going to be on another list because that one is one that can have an infinitive or a gerund.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Let's do a couple more examples here on this page before we leave. So I want to use a word like finish.
Finish.
So I say I finished homework yesterday.
I finished.
Is it in past tense? I finished to do my homework. Is that okay?
No.
No, I think it's.
That's right. I have to put a gerund because these are special verbs that have gerunds as objects. Okay. I can say I finished my homework. I finished my homework, or I finished. Wait, Amani, can you mute your microphone?
Yes.
He's writing and erasing and writing and
And you're raising.
I don't know what he's erasing, but something. So I can say I finished my homework. That's okay. I finished my job, right? I finished doing my homework. I finished taking my kids to school. Okay, so if we want to use a form of a verb after finished, we need to make it a gerund form. Okay, so let's practice together. I want each of you to tell me one example sentence. You can just say it. And you can use any tense of a verb, like past, present, future. But I want you to use one of the verbs on this list. So who wants to start?
I do it.
Okay.
I keep working on my essay.
On your
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. I keep working on my assignment. After the football game, I thought about doing my homework. Or during the football game, I thought about doing my homework, but I didn't. I kept on watching the football game. You see all these gerunds that I can use. I can change tense. I can put it in the past. I kept on working. I kept on watching TV.
So I can say I used to enjoy playing.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I used to enjoy playing video games. Okay, good. Good examples. Amani, do you want to give an example?
Um, I think I think about going to the store.
You think about going to the store. You're talking about all the time? Because you use present tense.
I
Like
thought.
every day you wake up, you think or
Oh,
during
let me
the
change it.
lunchtime you think about.
Last week I thought about going to the store. Is it right?
Yeah, appropriate, right? I thought about going to the store yesterday. Thought about going. Okay, Fei Young, welcome to class. Do you want to give an example? We're on page 342.
Thank you. I'm keeping on studying this morning.
Okay, that's a good point. You're using aggressive, I'm keeping on. We usually, this is one that's kind of like want. We can use it in the present tense, even though we're talking, when we're talking about now. So I keep on, or if you want to use aggressive, I would use I'm continuing to, but that one goes with infinitive. Because keep on means continue, but we use them a little bit different.
Does it mean it has a time period, or
It doesn't really have a time. It's like we use them in a different context. Like I would say, like if I'm giving directions, okay, turn right on Seminary Drive and keep on driving until you get to the highway. Keep on driving. But I don't use it for like right now. Oh, I'm keeping on sending my email, or I'm keeping on doing my homework. So it's kind of, we use it in a different context, like a different situations. Like when we're giving directions, when we're encouraging someone to not quit. So I would say, keep on taking those classes. Keep on doing your homework. Don't give up. That's the context that we use it in. Okay?
got it.
Okay, so good. It's good to kind of practice with these to see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, let's look over page 344. We've got a couple more things to look at before we go today. Let's look at go with the gerunds. Now, when it says go plus ing, it's not saying, we're talking about go camping, go running, go dancing. So whenever we have or a conjugation of go, like in the past it would be went, right? Whenever we have this verb with an ing, like running, going, camping, it always means we are talking about fun activities. Okay, so let's take a look at the book, page 344. Look at the pictures in the middle of the page. Everybody's having fun, right? We've got 6 pictures. These are all pictures that we could use go with. So go hiking, go ice skating, go running, go bowling, go sailing, and go snow skiing. Fun activities. So people use these. You probably heard, yes, I went last weekend. Shopping is supposed to be kind of a leisurely activity. I know not. We use go with shopping. Say go to shop. It's just not our norm, is it? Shopping. So I'm going shopping next weekend. I went shopping yesterday. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples. I'm going dancing this weekend. Do you want to come? Going dancing. So the verb is am going, and the gerund is dancing. Okay, another example. My family always goes skiing around Christmas time. So we have present, simple present verb, goes, and then we've got a gerund, skiing. Do you guys know what skiing is? Any questions about skiing? Skiing? All right, so the bottom of the page, you'll see examples of expressions that go with go. So we have jogging, running, sailing, shopping, skating, swimming, and these are activities. Say, tomorrow I'm going working, because working is not really a fun activity, unless you have my job. My job is a fun activity, but we can't use go with working. Go studying, no, because studying is not really fun. All right, so let's do a couple of practice ones together. Look at exercise 6. Exercise 345. Patricia often goes to the beach. She spends hours in the water. What does she like to do? Likes to go swimming. So that's what we're going to do together. We're going to answer the question. So number 2, Nancy and Frank like to spend the whole day on a lake with poles in their hands. So on the lake with poles in their hands. What do they like to do? The box.
Boating?
They like to go boating. Or yeah, canoeing is another one. It's when you have the oars, the sticks in your hand, and you row to make the boat go. Go boating. Okay, Amani, you can do the next one, all right? Last summer, Adam went to a national park. He slept in a tent and cooked his food over a fire. What did you do last summer, Amani?
Let me check it because I was looking for the page.
We're on exercise 6, number 3.
Page
Page 345. We're talking about Adam slept in a tent and cooked his food over a fire. So what did he do? Are you on the page?
the page now. I is it fishing or hiking? He go fishing. I don't know.
We're talking about the past, last summer.
Last summer, I went to a national park. He slept in a tent and cooked his food over fire. What did Adam do last summer? He went. Oh no, really?
Not sure.
Not
Look at
sure.
the word on page 344 in the box. Go camping. He went camping.
Camping.
He went camping.
Go.
Okay. And Walter, can you do number 4? Go to stores, buy things. What does he like to do?
He go buying things.
No, we can't. We can't use buying as a fun activity, even though it kind of makes sense to do that. We have to use one of those from the box.
Okay, he likes to go shopping.
Yeah, there you go. Shopping is the same as buying things, but shopping involves walking around and looking. Buying is only, here's the money.
Action.
So we would say he likes to go shopping. Okay, good job, guys. Another little way to use gerunds is after the go verb. Okay, turn the page. This is our last page for today. We want to talk about infinitives next. Look at page 346.
346.
So infinitives you probably are a little more familiar with. Maybe not. Infinitives is when you have the word to, T-O, to, and a base form verb. So there's no ing with these. Okay? These are not conjugated verbs. So when we say infinitive, you cannot have an ing, you cannot have the ed or a s at the end of the word. It's only to with a base form, okay? So we cannot say, my friends and I enjoy to ski in Colorado. We do not put infinitives after those special verbs on page 342. So enjoy goes with gerund, enjoy skiing. But there are others that we need to use infinitives with. My friends and I would like to ski. In this case, we cannot say would like skiing. We need to use the infinitive. Okay. Would like, by the way, is as want. When you want to do something. Okay. So on page 346, look in the box, and you have some more verbs here. These verbs are different verbs on page 342. So page 346 verbs go with infinitives. They go with an infinitive after them. So what are infinitives? They are forms of a verb, but they add meaning to a sentence, and they can also show purpose. And later we're going to talk about how they can show purpose. Infinitives can be subjects, but it's very rare. Most of the time, if we want to use a verb form, we want to use for the subject. We don't like to use infinitives as subjects. So I want to do a little practice with these, page 346. And we can use infinitives after any of these. So I can say, last week I promised to give my sister some money. Last week I promised to give. So after promised, I put an infinitive. Okay, who wants to try one from this box? For example, so we can see it together.
Uh, can I
Yeah.
can I make a sentence?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I would like to know your schedule.
Good. Would like to know. That's correct. Okay, can we get maybe one more example?
She decided To visit New York.
Yeah. Good job. She decided to visit New York. Okay. So we agreed to meet. I offered to pay. I refused to drive. Any of these verbs, we can use infinitives after them. Okay. So, guys, we got about 5 minutes or so. I want to play a quick game to see if you guys, how well you know these verbs, the verbs on your list. Okay. So, I want us to close our books, and I'm going to take you to the whiteboard screen, and you need to try to match the verb with the correct form, gerund or infinitive. So you're going to move the gerunds and infinitives to the correct place on the screen, and then whichever team gets the most correct after 2 minutes is going to win the game.
Oh, I'm gonna lose.
Okay? So I'm going to take you to the whiteboard. Now, 2 is not here today, so how do we do the teams here? We need 2 people on one team and 1 person on one team. Yes, Fei-Young?
Yeah, I have a question. Like,
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I heard a lot of times, like people say, "I'm going to do what? I'm going to do something." They are not saying, "I'm going to." I mean,
Yes, yes, you're right.
so, like, is that weird? Like, is that normal to say, "I'm going boating"? Is that weird, right?
I'm going boating.
Mm-hmm.
That's not weird.
That's so. So when to use the ing, or when to use the I feel a little confused about this place. Like many times people say, I'm going to do something.
Okay, let me put an example on the screen here. Let's look at the difference between these two. Both of them have I'm going, right?
Yes.
One has infinitive, to take. The second one has gerund, camping. So what is the difference between these? One is we're not talking about a fun activity. It's called a future tense. It's called the be going to take, I'm going to get, I'm going to live, I'm going to move, are future tense. This is a future tense, and we use to with a base form verb with it to create all the future tense. It's be, going to, and a base form verb. Okay? And the one at the bottom, the tense is actually present. Okay, and we're using go plus activity. So this is something different. We're talking about the future because we can use present progressive to talk about the future. Like, I'm working next week. I'm moving this weekend. Okay, we can use present progressive to talk about future, yes, but this is not future tense. This is the go verb in present progressive with a fun activity. Okay, we do not say I'm going taking a test because that would sound weird. I'm going taking a test. We wouldn't say because taking a test is not a fun activity. Okay, so that's why they gave you a list at the bottom of the page of those fun activities like camping, shopping, boating. Those are the ones that you can use. If you want to, you can use those with go. Okay, So does that help, Fei Young? Do you understand? Fei Young, are you there? What happened to Fei Young?
I don't know.
Ah, all my wonderful explanation. Oh, okay, you're there. Does that answer your question, Fei Young? Maybe his microphone doesn't work. Okay, well, I'm just going to continue on. Also help each other. I can help you through email if I need to, Fei Young. Okay. So, guys, here's what we're doing to end our day today. We're going to end on a happy note. And we're going to play a game. Who wants to be in team 1? We need one person in team 1, and we need 2 people in team 2. Who wants to be the lone wolf? Okay, Walter. Here's what you're going to do on team 1. So team 1, which is yourself, your books have to be closed, okay? Your books have to be closed.
Okay.
And what you do is fill out this chart by moving and I have to take my time because I have to write all of these. We're going to move the gerunds and the infinitives down to be in the correct place. Okay, I've got 2 more. Hold on. Okay, so we have 7 places. Team 2, you're going to do the same verbs. Okay, like want, would love, better, and you cannot use your book. But what you're going to do is, like team 2, you're going to click on your arrow and then you're going to drag these. So it either goes with, like number 1 would either go with the infinitive or it goes with the gerund. You got to put it in the correct place. We've got 7 verbs: want, would love, consider, can't wait, keep on, finish, and agree. And so, Walter, these are yours over here. You can either move it like that, or you can move the gerund to the next one. You move it, whatever needs to go there, either gerund or infinitive. Okay, does everybody know what to do?
I think.
I can't.
Say
I can't.
Amani, you guys are.
Well, how can I move it?
Oh
Press.
no! Click on the arrow.
Yes. Up the
So
screen.
look over here on the top, Amani,
Oh,
on
yeah.
the top left. Click on the arrow, and then you go to click on the word that you want to move. Okay, on your marks, get set, go. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay.
Number 1, number 2, so on.
Hey, why it doesn't move?
Okay, and I don't know what happened to Faye Young. I guess you're okay. When you look at it, yeah, it moved, Amani. Click on it until it has the dots all around it, and then you can move it. Amani. I don't know what to say, Amani. I don't know why you can't move it. See, I'm moving them like this.
Wait.
Oh.
Remember the first day of class, and we practiced moving things and writing things, and I remember you had trouble.
Yep.
Okay, well.
But I can tell you. Let me just repeat it.
That's so weird. Maybe it's your computer. So now when you push the T, click on the T button, and then go
Yes.
down there and you can type the
Okay.
words. And then I'm going to check yours. Number 7. Did you
I need
finish?
a working. I'm checking.
No. No, actually, you missed one then, because I put enough there. Another one of yours is wrong.
Yeah, no, that is one would love, I'd love to work. I think consider I think this one is gonna be here. No. No, can't wait. Can't wait working.
Love to see how your brain is working. It's like, oh man, I know this is the first day we're looking at these, so it's gonna be hard on the first day. Okay, I'm gonna help you guys. 2 minutes is up. It's over.
It's not enough.
I know.
The first one is good, so
Yeah.
oh, to work.
So you only got one wrong, Walter. Let's see what Amani got. To work, working. Yeah. And to work, working, working, to work. Yeah. So Amani got them all correct, but he took longer. He didn't
I'm
know
not.
the
I'm not
rules of the game, huh?
good. I'm not good in right in typing that fast.
Yeah. These are all correct on this side.
Agree to work.
Yeah, I agreed to take my kids to school. I agreed to do something. Yeah. So we're going to use agree with an infinitive. Good for our first day, just kind of throwing a bunch of verbs out there. You guys did pretty good matching them up with gerund or infinitive. So the key for this section of our class in our chapter is to kind of memorize the verbs on each list. That's going to be important for helping you with that test to make sentences correct. Okay, so we are out of time for today. So let me take you back to your homework. Just before we finish up today.
I have
Question.
one
Oh.
with
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
When you say with something, you don't use verb to be, right? Never. I'm agree. You don't
Right.
say
Yeah, that's a Spanish translation. Like when you say,
yes.
we never say agree or I was agree.
Okay, I agree or
I agree with you. I agree. I agreed in the past. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I forgot to mention that about agree. So basically, in Spanish, you have acuerdo, which is like an adjective or something, like a past participle or something. That's why you say I am, right?
Yes,
Agree is actually the verb. It is the verb. We don't need the am.
yes, because we use the verb to say
Right.
if I translating the sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have our agree. You can say I am in agreeance with you.
No.
Yeah, you can use it with a noun. No, that sounds really strange. We don't usually do that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good question. For homework, make sure you do your chapter 12 test. Don't forget about that. And then textbook exercises 3 and number 6, I only want you to do 1 through 5. Actually, we already did most of those in class, so you just need to do number 5. And then also do exercise 9. And then I posted a discussion board for Friday, and you guys each of you have a partner. You're going to write questions for your partner to answer in the discussion board. Each question needs to have a gerund or an infinitive. So I put all the description of that in the lesson folder, and I also told you which partner is your partner. So go back to the lesson folder and look at textbook assignment number 2, and then you'll see how to complete that assignment. So that's due Friday. So take your time on that. You can do it Thursday night or Friday if you want to. And that's it, guys. We went a little over today, but I hope that you guys feel more comfortable now with your gerunds and infinitives, and we're going to continue talking about these on Thursday.